Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back, Commanders. We're doing the mission episode today. So we're going to look at all the missions in both the original campaign, the training campaign, and Yuri's Revenge's campaigns. We're also going to be looking at the co-op missions or maps. I guess a little preface, this is probably going to be a long video. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut it into two parts. It might be just to split the Yuri's Revenge stuff. And there's going to be some actual gameplay footage, not just the map editor stuff, interspersed, because there's some interesting things that I've found that I figured should be pointed out or shown off. Um, Aside from that, I'm gonna try and not go through the trigger or tag editor all that much. They're nice to have. It's cool to see, um, but I mean, just with the number of missions we have to go through, looking at all the tags and all the triggers, there's a lot to go over. Games are getting more complex in the Command and Conquer series, so I will probably just avoid these, if only for time constraints. The other thing too is that it's just kind of it's that much harder to show off a lot of these things because, well, the trigger editor, there's so many triggers, but also when it comes to the tag editor, there are so many different tags that get placed, and they're all in a hex code, or I think that's hex code. Anyways, they're all in specific code. They're not outright stated when you're trying to look for them sometimes and trying to compare 094 BCB 94 to, it or other very similar numbers. Anyways, it's a lot of work and I don't really feel like there's much benefit to it. If you're interested in seeing the missions or maps yourself, Final Alert 2 is the program I'm using. Sadly, one of the problems I have with this is that I try to run into Red Alert 2, the maps and whatnot, but I seem to be missing some DLL or other file. I'm not exactly sure where I could possibly get it. All my files are correct, and I don't know what I should or could be missing. So, um, apologies if I couldn't get the Prism IFV stuff shown off. With all that said, let's just jump into the missions. First one here we have is training mission. Training mission starts out pretty normally. We start around the 47 marker with one GI. We go down, we meet some other GIs, and then there's a normal progression. We can see the markings just to delineate, like when you get to these circled zones, that's when the trigger is activated, and then it does obviously whatever the trigger is supposed to do. In this case, it's supposed to be the Blackhawk or Nighthawk transport that comes down, drops an engineer. We go across the bridge. We we get to the destroyable targets, and then that spawns a GI, and then so on and so forth. But, and hopefully this is where the video will cut to gameplay footage, there's some interesting things going on. But what exactly they are, you'll have to stay tuned for a few more seconds.
Bridge repaired.
Square away, sir! On the move! How about some action? Moving out! What's your request? On the move! What's your request? Tour underway. Can do! On the way, sir! Attack! On the move! Need a lift. Tour underway. Gotcha. Visibility clear. Maneuvers in progress. Sir! Yes, sir! Attacking! Squared away, sir! Need a lift. Maneuvers in progress. Sir! Yes, sir! Hooah!
Structure garrisoned.
Air transport ready is hot. Orders? Digging in.
So somehow that was in the game. I'm not exactly sure why they ever included that, but it's a very interesting way to get around the limitation of only having one engineer. I would actually have never thought this to be in the game until I saw this, thought it looked kind of weird. Then, when looking at it, it's a copter, so it had to be the Nighthawk. And, well, anyways, the rest is history. I'm not exactly sure I've ever seen that pointed out by anything. Certainly none of the guides I know or that I've been reading mentioned it. So either I haven't been paying attention to them or it's really just a nice little secret that I've found. Getting into Training Mission 2, it's a very basic mission. There's not very much to it at all. You get to a certain point, spawn some units, you deploy your MCV. If you go on top of the cliff, you get some crates, or at least you spot a crate, garrisoning the farm, repairing the bridge, and then attacking the very small enemy allied base. Or Red Side Training Force, whatever they want to call it, really. Now, the first mission for the Allied campaign, there's some interesting stuff. I'm hopefully, I don't know exactly how many of these I will be checking. It should be as many as I can, just to see if there's any interesting things. So if you see some footage cut in, it's because I actually did find some stuff. There's these triggers here. I'm interested in seeing what these will have in store for me. Additionally, there is a little ledge over here that's got, well, it has 4 separate trigger numbers. So those should be 4 different triggers, period.
Badly in time.
I'm on it.
Unit lost.
Moving out, boss.
Structure garrisoned. Our ally is under attack. Unit firepower upgraded. Unit armor upgraded.
Moving out, boss. Show me the way.
And I've never really paid attention to any triggers that are on this side of the bridge. Now, it's possible it's just going to be the bridge blows up, which makes a lot of sense. But nonetheless, interesting to think about and look at. Now, the only reason I believe these are here, one, this is just to sort of trigger units moving or spawning in, especially paratroop units. And this seems to just be a line that goes up. So as soon as you cross this one area, then more paratroopers probably come in. Additionally, I don't know what these two are. Sadly, double-clicking on them does nothing. And I was hoping that would just immediately bring up their triggers. All I know is that looking at the bottom of the screen says cell tag crate, so maybe it's just crates, but in any case, we've already seen the grizzly tanks that are up in the top right of the map, so that's pretty standard. And sadly, there doesn't seem to be much in the way of the Soviet base. Although, to be fair, wouldn't really expect all that much else from the first mission in the game. Now, the second mission in the Allied campaign in Colorado or Colorado Springs, where we get Tanya. We have to go rescue the Allied Air Force base. Sadly, this one too seems to be a very basic mission. There's a nice perimeter here, so you can tell they had plans on if you tried to go through the front door. If you tried to go around, it seems that would cause text that says that Tanya can swim, to kind of say like, hey, Dork, you maybe want to go into the river or the pond or lake or whatever around here, just to obviously avoid the sentry guns. It's also important to note that there are 2 Tanya can swim triggers, so one's probably more a more hurried or rushed, or how do I want to put this? It's going to like really berate you for trying to go into sentry towers. Bottom left, there's the Rocketeers that we found. Nothing too special there. Some extra reinforcements that come in eventually. The trucks, and once more, the base. We can see exactly what the AI is supposed to be building and what they're kind of limited to. So they're only going to build 2 refineries, so they don't even start with one. They build a war factory and then go from there. Not much else to really say about this mission. So we'll move on to the next. Also, my apologies if I click on any of the Yuri's Revenge missions too early. Hopefully I'll cut that out. If it happens, anyways. Third mission in the Allied campaign, we've got the... finally, we get the IFV for the first time. We get to see a lot of interesting effects with the buildings. So repairing special monuments gives you cash or other bonuses. Sadly, I've already mentioned it for this map. It's kind of... it's a nice design, but not overall well used. A lot of empty space. In the middle right, top left is completely dead, and there's no reason to ever go up there. There's the monument, but other than the monument, there's no reason to ever check out any of this area. So why bother, really? And then obviously when we go over to the White House and you free the president, he makes off with his Secret Service buddies, and they go off map. Not much else to really say about this one as well. We will get into the complex ones soon enough. Now, mission number 4 is the kind of desperate and depressing one, where you make it to Chicago, you save it from control from the Soviets, but they end up just having a nuclear silo that shows up and blows you up. We can see that the Psychic Dominator and Nuclear Silo are both on the same spot, but the game requires the space to be open. Obviously, you can't build one building over another, so it just has like an auto build trigger for once the quote-unquote psychic amplifier blows up. Couple resources, nothing too special. There was a mention that I think it was this building. I think it was this one that's supposed to give you vision everywhere, or was it the top left? Maybe it's between the two. I'm blanking on it right now, which is a little annoying. In any case, there's a lot more to the top right side of this map, but you never really explore it because there's just not much of a point. You kind of don't have an excuse to go here. And sadly, if you do manage to go on this side, well, as soon as you capture stuff, the Soviets will send stuff over to blow it up. And specifically, blow it and only it up. So, kind of hit or miss there. Interesting to see that there is a extra construction yard. So basically what it's saying is that there are 2 Russians in this mission. Or at least that's what it looks like to me. Russia, well, there actually probably is, yeah, so there's 3 Russians. So the first Russians are at the front. They're the ones you blow up. And they only have that 1 construction yard. After you blow up the first group, then you've got the second guys inland. And the third group is... Wait, is there... Huh. So the first group actually has both construction yards, and then it means that the psychic amplifier is the second house with a shipyard. But then you also have the third house, which has a Tesla reactor to power the nuclear silo so that it can actually shoot it, because this deploys it. Interesting. Very interesting. Allied mission number 5, we have the spy mission. This one's actually kind of quite fun. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze here. So this one's a lot of fun. You get to take Tanya. You don't get to see missions like this all that much in Red Alert 2. So it's a very nice change of pace. This is the one mission where you have you get to receive cows to do stuff with, but sadly there does not appear to be an IFV anywhere on this map, so you can't take advantage of whatever magical surprise it could have. Kind of a weird thing to do too, because I kind of have to wonder, like, what other circumstances could you find cows and IFVs? Interesting to note that there are 3 nuclear reactors. And there's actually 1 for each team. So Team Yellow, Team Orange, and Team Red. So Team Red is in the middle, Team Yellow is top right, and Team Orange is, well, Team Orange. So interesting that they would actually do it that way. I guess it makes sense in a way, because to shut down the power, you wouldn't want to shut the power off to other bases. So in order to split it up and have it make a little bit more sense thematically, you just have 3 different teams you're working against. Not much else in terms of triggers. I haven't seen any text in any of the trees yet. I didn't really look all that hard in the last couple maps. But I'm sure it'll creep up at some point once more. Alright, I think I forgot this one. Oops. Allied Mission 6, Pentagon Defense. Start at the Pentagon. Couple things. Not much to really mention with this one. We've seen this map in different variations, like different sizes, several times. It's not much that really happens. Yeah, like you can go up here and garrison a couple buildings. Really, the only reason you want to come up here is that you can destroy these 2 refineries, which I don't think the AI rebuilds. I forget if they do or not. Coming over to the middle island, basically just each of the bridges has the same trigger. They're all BG1 garrisoners, so bad guy 1. So bad guy 1, and they all garrison stuff. Kind of gets them ready, I guess, for your attack. There's not much to really say with the middle base. It's kind of just basic, which makes sense for the point. This point in the campaign. Apparently, this plays park sounds here. I really don't get why there's some of these like smaller triggers. This is just the civilians panicking, and otherwise, just kind of a simple or simpler map. Again, have to mention or want to mention just how like there's nothing, not much going on in some of these areas, which is a little unfortunate. And the water, I don't think you get the or any of the long range naval boats in at this point in the campaign. So having all this water here is actually kind of super annoying. You can't even use the lower portion around here just because the bridges are actually the ones with the solid base. So destroying the bridge, you just can't get under it. Um, Unlike here in these openings. Um, Kind of unfortunate because you you can't do an amphibious landing on the enemy side of the map. And I get maybe they wanted to prevent the player from bypassing the middle base, but they kind of also just, I don't know. It cheapens the power or utility that you could show off with amphibious transports. Pearl Harbor, the defensive mission. This is another one that you kind of don't really have the opportunity, or there's no real reason to ever explore and purchase a couple units in order to help you out with that. So you kind of just don't realize all the empty space around here, which I guess in a way is nice because you're able to build such a big map, so it feels big. It just kind of sucks a little bit because well, there's stuff here you just can't really take advantage of any of it. Although also to be fair, there's not much to really take advantage of. All these triggers on the ground seem to be for panic buttons, which will either make civilians go crazy or at least alert the player that stuff's going on. Yeah. Not a lot of resources that come to think of it. There's, gold patches here and there, but yeah, it seems to be very desolate in terms of cash. Certainly not a lot of gems. Over here on the left side, we've got the Russian base and how it's going to look. So clearly, after everything's built out, um, they've got plans. I didn't realize they had a nuclear silo that apparently is supposed to be that they plan on building. I don't think I've ever noticed it. For some reason, yeah. Unless it was in the video I did, but actually playing this mission, but I don't recall it whatsoever, and now it's kind of messing with my memory here. Allied Mission 8, where we have to destroy the Psychic Dominator in order to rescue the civilian population, send in more Allied troops, and so on. Starting off at the top right, and basically all you want to do is take the bridge down. Then you can get off the bridge at, well, one of 2 points, really. You can go further down, I guess, but there's nothing really tells you should, and so you kind of avoid the Allied base in the bottom left. Well, base, there's two buildings, but still. Apparently there's plans for the AI to actually build more Tesla coils, which is interesting. I'm not sure it would be handy for them, but interesting nonetheless. This was the one that was kind of cheesed a little easily, just by having units garrisoned in buildings. The AI, just because of the walls, they don't really have anything that can shoot over the walls because the buildings occupy the space. So they have to go around, and well, if you plan it out properly, you can take out the necessary buildings. Also, really unfortunate because they have the battle lab, and yeah, they're kind of, I don't want to say screwed, but you lose a lot of high tech stuff as soon as that goes down. It's a shame a little bit because I was kind of expecting a little bit more on this map, but looking at it, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't even inspire a lot of confidence in me to actually take these buildings anyways, just because of all the explosive barrels. I feel like the AI would just troll you, well, in this case, it'd be a conscript, not an initiate, but send somebody over and just have them shoot the barrels a couple times, and there goes the free building. So I'm not really quite sure what to make of it. And apparently, if you get to either nearby or in this one hex, it plays wind sounds, which I can only imagine why that would be the case. Oh, and that plays shore sounds, so maybe it's an audio trigger. Or visual trigger for audio sounds. Anyways. Alright, mission 9, the annoying one for me anyways, where one wrong move and you kind of lose the mission immediately. So we have some Navy SEALs and commandos that get dropped in 10, SEALs land, and then you basically follow the terrain, you manage to save a bunch of your pals, which, I mean, it's not a lot. 2 Grizzly tanks and some GIs is not enough to really get you anywhere. The airport that constantly gets recaptured by enemy engineers, so you kind of have to be careful for that. And then, yeah, the entering through the rear of the base and then doing stuff that way seems to be the best choice. It's interesting that they actually have these towers under a separate house. It makes sense because you wouldn't want them to be an enemy house because, well, during the mission we got to see how powerful these towers are. So if they were always that powerful, you'd never get any units nearby. Yeah, kind of. This sort of behavior leads into a lot of my skirmish experience, and one of the reasons why I don't tend to play multiplayer against AI in Command and Conquer games. All right, mission 10. Mission 10 we didn't get to see too much of, just because you can cheese it both ways, as we've seen before, or at least in 2 separate campaigns. Einstein audio, then some movement camera. There's this tech outpost, which only ever see here. I don't think I've seen it in either of the sides for this mission specifically, so interesting to see that being there. Apparently there's a crate here, so this clearly is incentive to get a Nighthawk transport, or if you have a SEAL or Commando or something to go there. And once more, we can see all the different things that the AI is planned to do. So, as long as you cheese a little bit and plan ahead, you can kind of destroy or prevent any of this from happening. It doesn't seem like they get any super weapons, so you don't have to worry about anything overly cheesy to deal with, in the sense that you don't have to... super weapons are not going to be your kryptonite. But, yeah. Also, never knew this refinery was here. I don't even think the guide, the Prima guide, mentions this refinery, which is odd. Mission 11, what was this? Florida Keys? So Florida Keys, you got your bridge, goes to a nice little area with a bunch of gold, and you got to take out the Soviet base because they're in Cuba and they have nukes. Starts out mostly defensive, you go on the offense, obviously, eventually. Not much to particularly look at. Major naval map, so there's a lot of water. We get to see the nice little cruise ship that someone blew up. That was definitely not me. Oil derricks. I think this is also another issue. I don't. I'm pretty sure there's no term for it. I'd probably call it like a dead map or something. Just the idea that you have, um, you have so much just dead slash wasted space. I get that they have to have the nuclear reactor a little bit further away from the rest so that you can depower a base easily. It just seems a little strange that you don't have maybe a couple like buildings here and maybe some civilians and I don't know. At some point, there's uh, diminishing returns on what you add to a mission. But when you compare, Florida, and you've got all these houses and or high rises and other buildings in the area, um, where is that for Cuba? I don't know. It just seems strange to me. I'm not quite sure why there's an extra Tesla reactor here. Either the game didn't want to give him one to begin with, or this is to replace um, once space becomes available from the nuclear reactor. So maybe the AI is not programmed to rebuild it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I guess it makes sense that it wouldn't be programmed to rebuild it since the three nukes. So if you depower it, it's probably that breather of you depowered it for good. But yeah, hard to say. And then the last allied mission, spawn in the top middle, and then work your way southeast, southwest, and ultimately south. Ah, so ACC, it's one of the map creators, and we can see here his handiwork, or their handiwork, shouldn't assume. My apologies. Um, so we can see probably the first time. I don't recall seeing any of the other missions. Um, the airport I never captured, the oil derricks I never captured, the two nuclear reactors that you can cheese really easily. And then what, four? Yeah, four nuclear reactors at the bottom, which don't really do all that much since, you know, the goal is simply to get to the Kremlin. So as long as you can take out four apocalypse tanks and two turrets, you're kind of okay. I'm a little amazed that there's not more triggers like on the ground. Even in the starting area, I kind of expected more than just the prisoner stuff. Obviously, the prisoners here are belong to a different house, specifically so that you don't like immediately they don't immediately get killed through through AI actions. All right, Soviet mission or Soviet side of things. I'm just gonna take a drink here. All right, Soviet side of things. So we have ourselves landing in the parking lot. We're next to the Iwo Jima Victory Monument, which couldn't occur in this timeline, or should not have occurred in this timeline, anyways. Fairly straightforward map. Um, this is a There's a crate over here that I would have never found ever. So I guess we'll have to see if we can find what that one does. This is another area of the map that like I never explored as a kid. Just no real reason to. You're shown where your objective is, so you go there early enough. Same thing here. Like okay, there's another crate, cool, and there's two oil derricks, which they're pretty useful, but there's no reason to ever get it. And why is there a crate here? All right, I might have to actually check these to see what all these crates do. They'll probably just be standard stuff, but Might as well check them out. Let's stop looking at that horror piece. All right, one of the few times we get to see a friendly AI help you out. Sadly, it's one of those things that Command & Conquer should have honestly had more of. Um, Allied Base, Super Basic, Oil Derricks, nothing up here, which is a little surprising. Kind of expected something there. Bottom left, have the base. If you attack the construction yard, it panic mode, sells everything, and then you're just hunting down some units. Nothing too crazy. I like the idea that Vlad in a dreadnought is getting ambushed, as if like naval radar never was a thing. Like as if someone's experience on a boat was confined solely to like the poop deck or something, and you never got to see like actual distances or I don't know. All right, so we get mission 3, New York. Nothing hidden in the back left, which is a little sad. I was hoping maybe something. Tech outpost. Fairly straightforward mission. Just basically go towards the trade centers. Rip. A second tech outpost for whatever reason. Hmm. What? This is. Is that a clone building? Why is this here? I don't recall this ever being built. Hmm. There are three tech outposts? How many tech outposts? Yeah, there's three tech outposts in this. That's crazy. I'm kind of curious as to why you'd have so many tech outposts in the same map. Because you'd never really take advantage of it. Also, that's kind of cute. Also, we can see that the buildings are never meant to be all that high. It's kind of why you only see the World Trade Center buildings, or any building that's supposed to represent it, near the top of a map, or else you'd never see the top. Interesting way to get around it, really. Kind of another mission you can cheese just by the fact that if you build enough of a navy, you can prevent them from doing anything. Also, if you plan ahead, you can kind of just get into this base early and make sure they never build. So it's fun, but I guess the problem is because of that, you kind of don't really have much of a map. Not even really any triggers. A couple polar bears, which is always fun. All right, mission 5, Paris. Again, another very tiny map. Similar in respects to Tanya's mission with infiltrating over the German, although it should have been Polish border. Um, Oil derrick in the bottom left, which I never noticed. Getting to the Eiffel Tower, and top left that never had anything, which seems a little. They could have done something, I guess. But yeah, this is also another one of those missions that just there's not much. I guess if you want to like really get into this area easily, it's much. Is it that much faster? It's probably easier to get through on the bottom left or the top left here because you don't have as much in the way blocking you. Also, more barrels on the outside, so maybe that has an effect. I don't know. Alright. Soviet Mission 6, man, this one was one that never really got to explore all that much because you can, as soon as you destroy the Korean Navy, it's kind of just beeline the special buildings. Then once those are done, you don't have to worry about anything. Not too many triggers in this one either. Buildings are spread out. Layout is same as what we've seen before. Although interestingly, the the Allied side doesn't have all these islands in the bottom right, and you don't have anything near it in the on the left side. I'm surprised there's an airport. That I guess could come in handy. But this map also exhibits the same sort of problems I have that we saw on the right side. Um, just very low placement and like poor design. I think it's interesting to have maps like this with the little fords there, little passable areas that you can walk over on the water and all that stuff. But having gems on the far side of the island that you can't get to reasonably quickly, and you can't build anything. Like by the time you get a construction yard here, you can maybe squeeze out 3 or 4 buildings, and then you're topped out for space. Just kind of a weird choice, especially when you've got so much more space devoted to um, the some of the other the other portions of the map. Just feels like you can cut some stuff out, make it maybe like redesign it a little bit better. I don't know. Mission 7, the defensive mission. This one's going to be super short because there's really not much to talk about. Waypoints are just basically where all the units will come from and where they go, where they path to. Um, the allies don't get a construction yard, so you don't ever have to worry about, defeating an enemy. It's really just you know, get your defenses in order and you're fine. As long as you defend the tech outposts and the 3 oil derricks, you're good for ever, really. I'm surprised there's no other triggers though, or at least no other visible triggers. Waypoints can always, I guess, trigger stuff. Soviet Mission 8, return to you know old stomping grounds. Although I guess technically on the Allied side, so not much of a return. Get a free Apocalypse tank, get a free flak transport. Neither of them really turn the tides for anything, so it's kind of a waste to even give you those. Get a lot of trucks, which all the trucks drop random crates. They're never. The only guarantee is the map, I believe. Everything else is random. This was another one of those like they didn't even, well, maybe it's supposed to represent all the destroyed stuff, but they didn't even reuse the other map, the other Washington D.C. map. It seems like a different version, just with how many fewer buildings there are, which then just end up being strange because, well, I mean, I guess technically, you start in the top left and you make your way to the bottom right, and then you do stuff, but. I don't know. It's a weird choice to me. It's also a lot of dead space. Like all this water, you can't use it. You don't do anything with it. And the AI has some backup power as well, which is I never like this. I don't think they have anything that spawns in to do anything either. So it's kind of just some help, I guess, to the AI. Soviet Mission 9, another really short one that I always forget is actually in the campaign. There's a waypoint here, but doesn't have anything written to it, so that's probably just a car or something. Yeah, there's our free radar and why we can see stuff. There's probably a power plant somewhere on the edge. No? You're probably just given free power. Barracks, go over, can do whatever. And then basically you've got your crisis zone where as soon as you enter whatever area, that's when the AI panics a little bit and starts doing stuff. Another mission where you could potentially, I guess, do the prism. Actually, I don't even know how you do it in this mission, because you can't put a mind-controlled unit into an IFV. So you don't really have the opportunity to ever execute that. Random upgrades, again, I don't think these trucks have anything they're supposed to drop either, other than if they drop crates, they're all random. Pretty sure they drop crates anyways. Interesting also that there's the Alamo, which is modeled. I guess if you got free time, why not? Soviet Mission 10, one that we never really fully explored, just because, well, there's not much of a point, to be honest. Starting a small map, you've got a couple buildings, which I guess is alright. It's kind of whatever. Bottom left is your major secret that you want to take advantage of right away, getting that dreadnought, and then kind of just spamming ground attack to do stuff. I've literally never seen this map before, so. Civvy House, P-Troop, Commando, Psy Commando. Why do you get a Psy Commando here with a bunch of cows? Are these cows, like, controlled? Civvy 1 house. Okay. So I guess the answer is no. Why is there... Okay, well, that's going to have to get viewed.
Building. Construction complete. Cannot deploy
AI is set to build a lot more buildings, yada yada yada. A lot of power on the edges. This is kind of the reason why you want to just spam a bunch, because you can get to destroying quite a bit, and basically save yourself any future trouble. Once it knocks out the... Oh my god, there's so much power here. Why? Also, this is the, as people pointed out, this is the one rare instance where a super weapon will be taken out by another super weapon in one hit. Normally that doesn't happen. You need at least 2. Or at least you need 2 for the stronger buildings. Well, come back for this, that's for sure. So in Mission 11, we're going against Yuri, because we're tired of his meddling. Oh, ACC once more. Yeah, this is sneaky too, because there's nothing that indicates you should go this way. So I'm probably going to have to show this off in the mission. Actually, I should probably just play like the campaign on easy to see if I can get through... Well, I think that might take out my saves. I don't know. I'll have to see. Easy would be nicer, just to not have to go through all the same troubles. Didn't see anything of this mission, so everything here is new. Seeing the outpost is nice. The red base, which probably produces a lot. 2 war factories. Excuse me. That's probably how they get all those apocalypse tanks and terror drones out. Got a nice little oil derrick. Got a couple cows. And then just, an entire base on both sides. Are these both the same house? Bad guy 3, bad guy 3, yeah. So taking out one side will not be enough. You kind of have to destroy both. Also, 2 barracks and 8 clone vats, really? That's so bleh. I do not like that. Although there's no cash around here, so if you can take out the 2 oil derricks, you might be able to do enough against them. Also, again, not a lot of triggers anywhere on the map, so not even for like entering the base the first time, which I kind of would have expected. Save one house. Alright, here's the crazy one. Start in the corner, a little bit of money, really hard start. You get to the edge, it reveals the naval position. But this is kind of strange that this would be here. I kind of expect this to be way further right. But whatever, I guess. That reveals the gold, so I guess it just tells you that you need to pressure your opponent, or that's their means of money? Wait, how do you even get... Oh, okay. Sure. Prevent the AI from getting stuff, I guess? Oh, okay, so there's some tag for the AI to change, to do stuff as the player gets places. That's like the only thing I can think of. It probably swaps out certain units that it uses for teleporting or something. That would probably be it. Again, lots of power. Get here, reveals the base, I guess. Cool. Okay, so there's like 4 different bad guys. Bad guy 1, bad guy 2, there's bad guy. This is bad guy 3. So at least 3 bad guys. It's probably bad guy 4. I bet one of these guys is also bad guy 4. Hence why I would say like bad guy naval reveal or whatever. Well, maybe it's whatever. Got the 3 Kirovs, which is nice, but like they don't really do all that much. And also, this is a base that actually has air defenses, so you can't really use them all that well, anyways. I guess you can use them against the power line. Those would be good targets to hit. That's about it. And as I did in the video, you can just cheese this kind of, as long as you have dreadnoughts that are fully upgraded, which I honestly should not be that much of an issue with all the crap here. And, the different units and the two bases. Yeah, not that many triggers. Otherwise, I would have expected a little bit more, I guess. Is there anything on here that says about the player at PG2? House America, yeah. Events. Entered by, yeah. Enable trigger chrono attack at BG2 and chrono. Yeah, okay, so just teleports in units. That's what I thought. Alright, well, time to go to the Yuri video. Stay tuned.